What's up, Broncos country? You're not going to believe the move Sean Payton just pulled. The Denver Broncos literally poached Sam Mustipher straight from the Los Angeles Chargers practice squad on the eve of the most important showdown of the season. And it's no coincidence, man. This is pure high-level strategic intelligence. Payton is doing exactly what he did before the game against the Jaguars, except this time against a direct AFC West division rival. We're talking about a center who spent the last few months training with Jim Harbaugh, learning every detail of the Chargers playbook, every defensive call, every secret strategy. And now he's wearing orange and blue. If you think this won't change everything in the Week 18 game, you don't know Sean Payton, stick with me because the most explosive detail of this story is still to come. Let me tell you something that's got all of Broncos country in ecstasy. Sean Payton doesn't play chess. He plays 4D chess while other coaches are still trying to understand the rules of checkers. On Friday, December 26th, right after that grinding but crucial 20-13 victory against the Kansas City Chiefs, on Christmas Day, the Denver Broncos made a move that left ESPN analysts jaw-dropped and Chargers fans absolutely furious. What happened? The Broncos signed Sam Mustipher, taking him directly from the Chargers practice squad. That's right, the team we're facing in Week 18, in a game that literally defines the fate of our season, just lost a player who knows every secret of Jim Harbaugh's operation. Sam Mustipher is no nobody. The guy is 29 years old, 6'3", 306 pounds of pure muscle, and has already started 43 games in the NFL. He spent the entire 2024 season with the Chargers, played 12 games, was promoted to the active roster in October. In 2025, he was on the practice squad, absorbing knowledge, participating in practices, seeing everything up close. And now he's going to sit down with Bo Nix, with Vance Joseph, with Sean Payton, and he's going to hand over on a silver platter every bit of information he has about that team. According to league insiders, this isn't the first time Payton has done this season. Weeks ago, before the matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Broncos made a similar move, recruiting Cody Schrader from the Jags. That didn't work out as well as we hoped. We lost that game 34-20 in an upset nobody saw coming. But the strategy remains valid. Know your opponent from the inside. Have someone who lived in their locker room, who knows how they think, how they prepare, how they react under pressure. The difference now is that Mustipher comes from the Chargers, our biggest rival in the AFC West division race, the team we haven't been able to beat since Jim Harbaugh took over as head coach. And look, it's not just about adding depth on the offensive line after Luke Wattenberg went to injured reserve with a shoulder injury. No, this is much bigger. Mustipher has plenty of experience. He started his career as an undrafted free agent with the Chicago Bears in 2019, became a starter there, then went through Baltimore Ravens, Tennessee Titans, and now has 2 stints with the Chargers. The guy knows what it's like to play in crucial games. He's faced the worst defenses in the NFL and survived to tell the tale. And more importantly, he spent months at the Chargers training complex in 2025, watching how Justin Herbert prepares, how that depleted offensive line functions, or doesn't function, how the offensive coordinator calls plays in critical situations. You see where this is going. Sean Payton now has access to privileged information that no other coach in the league has. It's like we got the Chargers' secret playbook, only even better because it's a flesh and blood person who can answer questions, who can give details you'd never see on video. ESPN analysts, including big names like Adam Schefter, have already commented that this type of move is perfectly legal, but extremely rare to happen between direct rivals before a game of this magnitude. Because think about it, the Chargers are in a dangerous position. They need to beat us in Week 18 to keep their division title chances alive. If we win, not only do we secure the AFC West, but we could even compete for the number 1 seed in the conference, which means a bye in the first round of the playoffs and home field advantage throughout the entire postseason. The Chargers lost both their starting tackles. Justin Herbert is the most hit quarterback in the NFL this season. Their offensive line is held together with duct tape and prayers. And now, to make matters worse, they lost a guy who knew the nuances of that offensive system from the inside. On our side, the situation wasn't the best either. Alex Forsythe had to take over as starting center in the game against the Chiefs after Wattenberg was placed on IR, and look, Forsythe played great. He earned the game ball, prevented Chris Jones, one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league, from showing up in significant statistics. It was a sensational performance, especially considering that Forsythe was the scapegoat for the blocked kick we lost to the Chiefs in 2024. That game still hurts for a lot of people. Seeing him redeem himself like that at Arrowhead on Christmas Day was poetic. But let's be honest, you can't put all your eggs in the Forsythe basket. If something happens to him during the Week 18 game, we need a reliable backup. And Mustipher is exactly that, a veteran of 64 NFL games, 43 as a starter, who can step in and maintain the level of play without missing a beat. It's like having premium insurance when you need it most. But wait, because the story gets even crazier when you understand the timing of this move. Sean Payton doesn't do anything by accident. And what he's planning for the Week 18 game could be the most brilliant move you'll see this season. Before I reveal this to you, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, hit that button now. Seriously, you won't want to miss any exclusive analysis from Broncos Nation going forward, and tell me in the comments, do you think Mustipher will be the key piece for us to finally beat the Chargers? Let's talk numbers, because numbers don't lie, and Sean Payton's numbers are simply absurd. With the 2013 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas Day, Payton tied Bill Belichick as the only coaches in NFL history to have 5 different seasons with 13 wins or more. Let that sink in for a second. 5 different seasons with 13 wins. And these weren't easy seasons. He did this with the Saints when that franchise was the definition of poverty in football. New Orleans had never won anything relevant before Payton arrived. He had more playoff wins in his first 2 seasons than the entire franchise history, up to that point, won the Super Bowl. Turned Drew Brees into a legend. Now look at what he's doing with the Denver Broncos. We had the biggest dead cap in NFL history because of Russell Wilson. $85 million of dead money that couldn't be used to sign anyone. We had a rookie quarterback coming out of Oregon, a guy the rest of the league laughed at when we drafted him, saying he was going to be a failure, the worst QB of that draft class. And what did Sean Payton do? He took Bo Nix and turned him into the only quarterback in NFL history to accomplish what he's accomplished. Bo Nix now has more than 20 wins, 7,500 passing yards, and 50 passing touchdowns in his first 2 seasons. No other quarterback in history has done that. Not Joe Montana, not Tom Brady, not Peyton Manning, not Patrick Mahomes, Bo Nix. And this isn't luck. This is Sean Payton developing talent, maximizing potential, putting players in position to succeed. And look at Bo's record against the Chiefs. 3 wins, 1 loss. The only loss? That blocked kick in 2024, when Bo had just put the Broncos in perfect position to win. He should be undefeated. Compare that to other quarterbacks everyone idolizes. Lamar Jackson, 1 win and 6 losses against Kansas City. Justin Herbert, 4-7. Josh Allen, 5-5. What Bo Nix is doing is unique, and that's direct credit to Sean Payton. But back to Mustipher in Week 18. His addition isn't just about backup or depth. It's about sending a message. It's about playing psychological warfare with Jim Harbaugh. Think about what's going through the Chargers players' heads when they find out that a guy who was in their locker room a few weeks ago is now on the other side, ready to tell everything he knows. According to analysts who cover the Chargers closely, this move adds extra intrigue to the matchup. Intrigue is a polite way of saying the Chargers are scared, because they know Payton will use every ounce of information Mustipher can provide, every tendency, every tell, every weakness that only someone who lived inside knows. And it's not just Mustipher. Look at our team's performance this season. We beat the Kansas City Chiefs twice and swept the series for the first time since 2014. We won at Arrowhead for the first time since 2015. There are only a few quarterbacks in Broncos history who have managed to win at Arrowhead in December. Bo Nix is one of them now. That stadium is one of the toughest places to play in the NFL, with the deafening noise, the freezing weather, the hostile atmosphere. And we went there on Christmas Day and won. We beat the best defense in the league on the road when we went to Houston. We beat the fifth best offense in the country when they came to Denver. At the time, they were even the best offense. We beat Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. We beat the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. Our list of quality wins is impressive. And about that Christmas game, we scored 20 points with just 7 offensive drives. 7. If you exclude the kneel-down drive at the end, it was basically 6 productive drives. You know what points per drive that represents? 2. 9 points per possession. If this average were applied to the entire season, we'd be the best offense in the NFL. No joke. With just 7 drives, we were so efficient, we'd surpass every team in the league if we maintained that average. But Sean Payton coached that game conservatively on purpose. He wanted to minimize injury risk. He wanted to control the clock. He knew he didn't need fireworks, just needed the victory. And he got it. 4 drives with more than 14 plays each. Several 8-minute campaigns. We literally suffocated the Chiefs with possession and efficiency. The Denver Broncos defense also deserves credit. Vance Joseph put together a scheme that stopped James Cook, who is the heart of the Buffalo Bills offense. If we face the Bills in the playoffs, and everything indicates we could, the key will be stopping their running game. And guess what? We're elite at that. 3 of the Bills' 4 losses this season came when Cook had fewer than 100 yards. Our defense is among the best in the league at stopping running backs. We have Pat Surtain, too, who came back from injury and continues to be the best cornerback in the NFL. We have Nick Bonitto, who's having an absurd season with sacks and pressures. We have a defensive line that dominates the line of scrimmage. And all of this was built under the impact of Russell Wilson's dead cap, $85 million that couldn't be used to sign high-level free agents. And still, George Paton and Sean Payton managed to put together a competitive roster, draft well, develop players, and get where we are. 13-3, owners of the AFC West, with real chances at the number 1 seed in the AFC. The fact that Sean Payton isn't even being seriously mentioned for Coach of the Year is a crime. Literally a crime. What he did this year, with the limitations he had with a second-year quarterback, with all the pressure and expectations, is award-worthy. But you know how it is. The media loves easy narratives. They'll give the award to some coach who had a roster full of stars and did what was expected. Payton doesn't care. He's focused on what matters, winning games, developing players, building a dynasty, and stealing Sam Mustipher from the Chargers. That's just another piece of the brilliant puzzle he's putting together. Now let's talk about what really matters. Week 18, the game against the Los Angeles Chargers that will define absolutely everything. We still don't know if it'll be Saturday or Sunday. The NFL will announce the time after Sunday's games. But one thing is certain, this game is going to be epic. If we win, we secure the AFC West title. We could even compete for the number 1 seed in the AFC, which means a bye in the first round of the playoffs and home field advantage throughout the entire postseason. Imagine that. All playoff games at Mile High, with that deafening crowd noise, with Denver's altitude affecting teams that aren't used to it, with our defense suffocating opponents on our territory. But there's a cruel detail. Depending on how things align, we might have to face the Chargers again in the wild card round. Playing a team from the same division 3 times in a season, with 2 of them in the playoffs, is extremely difficult. Familiarity works both ways. They know us. We know them. Every play becomes a battle of wills because there are no surprises. But now, with Mustipher on our roster, the scales have tipped to our side. We have information they don't have about us. We know things about them that they think are secrets. It's pure competitive advantage, and let's be honest, we need to beat the Chargers. Not just because it's important for playoff seeding, but because it's a matter of pride. Since Jim Harbaugh took over as their coach, we haven't been able to beat this team. 0 wins. It's frustrating. It's irritating. It's something that needs to change, and Week 18 is the perfect opportunity. Justin Herbert will be there with his depleted offensive line. He's already the most hit quarterback in the NFL. Imagine what Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, and our defensive front will do to him. Imagine the blitz calls Vance Joseph will design, knowing exactly where the offensive line weaknesses are. Mustipher can give specific details. Which guard has a tendency to get out of position on runs to the right? Which tackle takes a tenth of a second too long on the snap count? Which protection they call on 3rd and long? These small pieces of information, when aggregated, create a massive advantage. It's the difference between Bo Nix having a clean pocket or being pressured. It's the difference between J.K. Dobbins finding huge holes or having to fight for every yard. It's the difference between Courtland Sutton catching clean passes or being double covered the entire game. Speaking of Courtland Sutton, that guy deserves respect. He had some dropped balls in the game against the Chiefs that frustrated everyone, but you can't forget his body of work this season. Sutton is our #1 weapon in the passing game. He opens up space for other receivers. He blocks in the running game like he's a tight end. He's a leader in the locker room. 1 or 2 dropped balls don't define who he is as a player. And Bo Nix, man, this kid is special. At just 6-2 in primetime games during his career, including all games this season, he's shown he's not afraid of the big stage. He doesn't freeze under pressure. On the contrary, he thrives. In the second half against the Chiefs, he was surgical. The ball hit the ground only 3 times that entire second half. Most were intentionally thrown away to avoid sacks or forced incompletions. Bo Nix has the emotional control of a 10-year veteran, but has only 2 seasons in the league. His EPA, expected points added, is absurd. He's at the same level as Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, and other elite quarterbacks. He leads the league in several advanced efficiency categories. He has the lowest sack rate among starters, and all this while leading the NFL in passes not caught by receivers. These drops are the only real negative point of our offense this season. Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin all have had moments where they dropped balls that should have been easy catches. It's contagious. When one guy drops the ball, the others get tense, start overthinking, and suddenly you have multiple drops in the same game. But I trust this will be corrected in the playoffs. This team has character. This team has leadership. Sean Payton won't let drops define our season. He'll work with the receivers, do extra drills, make sure hands are secure when it matters most. And back to Sam Mustipher. You can be sure Sean Payton has already sat with him for hours since Friday, got every detail about the Chargers, every useful piece of information, and now he's designing the perfect game plan for Week 18. Imagine the scene. Payton in a meeting room, Bo Nix sitting next to him, Vance Joseph present, various assistant coaches taking notes. Mustipher up front, pointing at videos, explaining tendencies, revealing secrets. When they line up this way, 80% of the time it's a run to the left. When Herbert makes this hand motion before the snap, it's an audible to a pass play. The linebacker on the weak side always takes a second longer to react on play action. These are the things that win games at the NFL level. It's not always the spectacular big plays. It's the details. It's knowing exactly what's coming and reacting a tenth of a second faster. It's Bo Nix reading the defense pre-snap and knowing for sure where the ball is going. It's our defense knowing exactly when to blitz, because Mustipher revealed Herbert's tell when he's in a hot route. Analysts across the country are talking about this Week 18 game. It's the most important regular season game, without a doubt. Bills versus Patriots doesn't come close. Cowboys versus Eagles doesn't compare. Broncos versus Chargers is the game everyone will watch because it defines seeding, defines momentum, defines who is the true owner of the AFC West. And the Chargers know this. They're feeling the pressure. They lost Mustipher. They know we have an information advantage now. They know that playing at Mile High, with that crowd, with that altitude, is one of the toughest things in the NFL. Don't underestimate the altitude factor. Teams that aren't used to it get tired faster in the fourth quarter. They miss tackles they'd normally make. They can't maintain the same level of intensity for 60 minutes. And us? We live in this. We train in this every day. It's a natural advantage that can't be replicated. Broncos country is in ecstasy now. The energy in the streets of Denver is palpable. After years of suffering, lost seasons, false hopes, and disappointments, we finally have a real team. We finally have a quarterback who can take us to the promised land. We finally have a coach who knows exactly what he's doing. And Sam Mustipher, he may not be the star of the team, he may not make national headlines, but he's the secret weapon. He's the ace up the sleeve that Sean Payton saved for the perfect moment. This Week 18 game is going to be war. It's going to be physical. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be the kind of game that defines legacies. If Bo Nix leads the Broncos to victory against the Chargers, finally breaking this horrible streak, and secures the division title on a rookie contract, he'll cement his place in franchise history. If Sean Payton orchestrates another tactical masterclass using all the tools at his disposal, including Mustipher, he'll prove once and for all that he's the best coach of his generation. The Chargers will fight. They won't give up. Jim Harbaugh is an elite coach too. Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback. But they don't have what we have: momentum, confidence, home field advantage, and now, privileged information. We're going to dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. We're going to control the clock with efficient runs from J.K. Dobbins and Audric Estime. We're going to open up the passing game with Bo Nix making precise throws to Sutton, to Mims, to Franklin. We're going to pressure Herbert until he can't breathe anymore. We're going to force turnovers. We're going to win. And then comes the playoffs. And with the seed we can secure, we have a real chance to make it to the Super Bowl. It's not hype. It's not an impossible dream. It's tangible reality. This team has what it takes: elite defense, efficient quarterback, solid running game, high-level coaching, and now, thanks to Sam Mustipher, strategic advantage over a key rival. The next few days are going to be intense. Analysis will fly. Experts will make predictions. Vegas will set odds. But in the end, it all comes down to one thing: who wants it more? Who's more prepared? Who will execute when the lights are brightest? I know my answer, and you. The story of Sam Mustipher and this masterful move by Sean Payton is just the beginning. There's still much more to come this week until the Week 18 game. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any analysis, any update, any breaking news about the Denver Broncos. This is the best time to be a fan of this team in almost a decade, and I can't wait to see what happens when we finally put the Chargers down. Leave in the comments, what will the final score be? And do you think Mustipher's information will be the decisive X factor? Let's go Broncos!